Now, meanwhile, Democrats, of course, are siding with that horseshoe theory right and suggesting that this is just terrible, that everything that's happening in the Middle East is terrible right now. The denuclearization of Iran by force is terrible. Democratic Senator Welch, he is from Vermont. Okay, again, if you find yourself in solidarity with Bernie Sanders on foreign policy, let me suggest that you're doing it wrong. Senator Peter Welch of Vermont, who is, again, a Bernie Sanders type Democrat from Vermont, he says we should be taking care of America first, sounding very much like some of the voices on the horseshoe theory right.
Do we want to get engaged in Netanyahu's policy when there's no restraining what he ultimately will do? We should be taking care of America first.
Now, again, I don't know what that means in this particular context. I also agree that we should be taking care of America first. We are doing that with like trillions of dollars a year. I'm confused as to how taking out the Iranian nuclear program with one bombing run is somehow equivalent to not paying attention to America's problems. Should we disband the American military, generally speaking? I mean, this is a really ideological question. Should we disband what is the military for? Should we disband it? We spend trillions of dollars a year on it. Should we just disband it utterly? Because after all those dollars could be used for Social Security or whatever. Is that the goal? Like, what is the goal here? What is the end state that you seek? Do you view American foreign policy as important in any way, shape, or form? And as far as the idea the United States is tethered to whatever Benjamin Netanyahu says or does in Iran, how so? Truly, I want to understand that. Please explain to me how, let's say that Benjamin Netanyahu decided he wanted a full-scale American invasion of Iran. You think President Trump goes for that? Are you out of your mind? Okay, first of all, Netanyahu has not called for that. If he did, you think Trump goes for that? Benjamin Netanyahu apparently wanted to go after Iran months ago, and President Trump was not particularly friendly toward it. Did the United States go along with all of that? All of these are straw men. They're just burning straw men. Democratic Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, he's now suggesting that Netanyahu's decision to launch a war against Iran is threatening Americans' safety. So I guess his suggestion is that America is safer with the Ayatollahs with a bomb.
Mr. Secretary, as the chairman has said, this is a dangerous moment. As we speak, missiles are striking cities across Israel and Iran, threatening to ignite a regional war. There should be no doubt that for the safety of the United States and the rest of the world, Iran cannot acquire a nuclear weapon. However, Prime Minister Netanyahu's decision to preemptively launch a war with Iran against the urging of the president threatens the stability of the entire region and the safety of Americans stationed there.
So, again, the idea here from this doltish, cloddish Democrat is that somehow taking out the nuclear facilities is bad. Trust the Iranians. Okay, well, President Trump does not. President Trump has made clear his perspective, and trying to cite things in the name of President Trump that he has not said and is not saying is a hell of a move. Again, listen, there are times when I disagree with President Trump on this program. It's not infrequent. But I'm not trying to speak in his name. What does President Trump really mean? What is President Trump really trying to say? He's saying exactly what he wants to say. He's doing exactly what he wants to do. He's not being manipulated from the outside. That sort of perverse perspective is very, very silly in the extreme. Meanwhile, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for an immediate de-escalation leading to a ceasefire because, of course, he did. Of course, he did. Has there ever been an evil power on planet Earth the United Nations will not stand for? The United Nations is the Mos Eisley of international politics, a wretched hive of scum and villainy. And this is what they are. That is not a shock at all. One of the many reasons why I hope that before President Trump leaves office during his second term, I hope that President Trump leaves the UN, just cuts it dead. It is the worst organization. It is a trash organization. You want to talk about wasting billions of dollars a year? If we're cutting USAID, we should just cut the UN completely. What a joke that organization is, truly. Well, meanwhile, the Democrats are in trouble. According to the New York Times, the DNC is in chaos and desperate for cash. Uh-oh, sad things happening. Just months into the tenure of a new party leader, Ken Martin, the DNC has grown so bleak, top officials have discussed whether they might need to borrow money this year to keep paying the bills. Fundraising from major donors, some of whom Mr. Martin has still not spoken with, has slowed sharply. At the same time, he's expanded the party's financial commitments to every state, even to Guam. Fellow Democrats are grumbling that Martin, who quietly accepted a raise after taking the post, has been badly distracted by internal battles. So far, they say he's been unable to help unite his party against Republicans who control the federal government. So they have a really, really big problem over at the DNC. So given the fact that there was a bare knuckles fight for the chairmanship, Martin has been pushing allies. His enemies are mad. They're walking out because of a giant grab bag of cash, but not anymore. I guess all the cash is gone. 6 people briefed on the party's fundraising, according to the New York Times, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss its finances, frankly, said big donors had been very slow to give to the party this year as Martin solicits contributions. His commitment to state parties, which amounts to $1 million in monthly spending, has further strained the finances. So it appears that Democrats may now be in the position of having to borrow money in order to pay their bills, very much like their fiscal policy, which is exciting stuff. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep an eye on this New York City mayoral race, because if New York turns to this psychotic, socialistic, spoiled brat man-child, Zohran Mamdani, the New York State representative, who held a real job for about 2.7 seconds as the privileged scion of a Columbia University professor and a Hollywood director, before his theatrical run for mayor of New York, if they elect this guy, I'm going to enjoy watching New York City melt down, truly. Like, you get what you deserve. I'm very much on board, again, with the H.L. Mencken idea that democracy is the theory, that the people get what they vote for good and hard. If you vote for Zohran Mamdani, man, and your entire tax base flees, then good luck to you, New York, truly. We will welcome all of your rich people down to Florida, increasing our tax base. Sounds great. Bill Ackman says it only takes a handful of successful people to leave to decimate the city's tax base. Well, that's true. That is true. We'll get to more on this in a moment. First, your online activity. It's not actually private. Data brokers track everything you do online, your browsing, shopping habits, even your beliefs. In the United States, they can legally sell that information. Companies buy this data to target you with ads. Social media platforms use it to control what content you see. During elections, it's used to influence your vote. To protect your privacy and maintain your autonomy online, you should be using ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN routes all my online activity through secure encrypted servers, making it impossible for my internet provider to see what I'm doing online. That means you can browse without feeling like somebody's watching your shoulder all the time. It also hides your IP address, that unique number that identifies you online, and allows data brokers to build and sell profiles about you. Without access to your IP or activity data, those companies really don't have anything to work with. I'm traveling all the time these days. I'm using public Wi-Fi. That makes me vulnerable, or would if I didn't use ExpressVPN. Plus, ExpressVPN is remarkably simple to use. Just one click activates protection across all my devices on up to 8 devices simultaneously for me and my family. Find out how you can get 4 months free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description box below, or by heading on over to expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show. Okay, meanwhile, Zohran Mamdani, who, again, has engaged with every anti-Semitic group he can find, tweeted in 2020 that queer liberation means free Palestine, which is a very weird statement. This person, who has chanted, globalize the Intifada, and then suggested that Israel does not have a right to exist as a Jewish state, now he's crying about it. This is where we are. This is the person you guys are thinking about electing mayor of New York. This one. A man who fakes tears. Honest to goodness, the fake tears, I can't deal with that at all. It is unmanly. Okay, it's unmanly. It just is. There are good reasons to cry. Your parents died. Your dog got hit by a car. Something bad's happening to your kids. Like, those are real reasons to cry. You know, it's not a reason to cry. Someone called you an anti-Semite when it turns out you're kind of an anti-Semite. Here's Zohran Mamdani faking tears.
I get messages that say the only good Muslim is a dead Muslim.
No, you don't. Show us.
Threats on my life. On the people that I love. And I try not to talk about it. Because the function of racism, as Toni Morrison said, is distraction. My focus has always been on making this a city that's affordable, on making this a city that every New Yorker sees themselves in. And it takes a toll. Because this is a city that every single person deserves to be in. It's a city that we all belong to. And the thing that's made me proudest in this campaign,
Wipe your eyes, man. Yeah.
is that the strength of our movement is built on our ability to have built something across Jewish and Muslim New Yorkers, across New Yorkers of all faiths and all backgrounds and all boroughs. And anti-Semitism is such a real issue in this city. And it has been hard to see it weaponized by candidates
Weaponized.
who do not seem to have any sincere interest in tackling it, but rather in using it as a pretext to make political points.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is the one you want, really? This is what you want in New York? Fake crime. It's anti-Semitism has been weaponized. Not by my friends who hate Jews, but by people who say that anti-Semitism is bad and that I'm one of them. It's so sad. You know what I need? I need a mashup at some point. Editors, I'm calling upon you. I need a mashup of all the Democrats fake crying. From Bill Clinton fake crying to Gavin Newsom fake crying. Is this like a Republican thing? I don't remember a lot of Republicans doing the thing. Has Donald Trump ever come close to crying publicly? I do not think that he has. Like ever. Not once, as far as I'm aware. But it seems like every Democrat, it's like part of the rehearsal process. Can you cry on cue? Go, cry. Let's see some tears, boy. Let's do it. Like what are we even talking about? It's like every single Democrat, every major Democrat has to do the I'm so saddened. Oh, the tears welling up front. Honestly, the only man I know who can fake cry on command is Matt Walsh. And that's because Matt is kind of an actor. Right? I mean, like he actually tried to do it in Am I Racist, I believe. And it was pretty effective. But he's the only one. I don't know anyone else. It's like amazing. These are the people. These are the ones the Democrats have chosen. Okay, well, good luck with that. Well, meanwhile, the Democrats boycotted a hearing yesterday over the cover-up of Joe Biden's mental decline. Again, one of the great scandals in American history. Republicans have been holding a Senate hearing on this. Senate Democrats staged a near total boycott of a Republican-led Senate hearing on Wednesday on Joe Biden's mental decline and its alleged cover-up during his presidency, according to The Guardian. The only senator who attended was Peter Welch of Vermont, who, again, is very bored. There's nothing happening in Vermont. They've got, like, some cows and some grass, and that's it. So he's like, okay, I'll show up. But everyone else was not showing up. The hearing was titled, Unfit to Serve, How the Biden Cover-Up Endangered America and Undermined the Constitution. It began with the Democratic ranking member, Dick Durbin, launching a counterattack on President Trump's off-kilter comments before walking out of the chamber. Yes, they must walk out. Durbin said, if we're going to make a question of cognitive ability, I think we should consider what happened in Alberta, Canada, just this week. And then he tried to claim that President Trump is mentally unfit. Okay, this is not going to work for you guys. Really, it's not going to work for you. Marsha Blackburn, senator from Tennessee, she's like, good try, guys, but you trying to avoid culpability for covering up the fact that the president of the United States was brain dead for a couple of years there is not going to work.
I'm on my way down to Judiciary Committee. We have a hearing on who was really in charge at the White House while Joe Biden was president, who had that auto pen, what was happening with his health. And, I think the Democrats are already throwing the towel in on this one. They didn't even call a witness. It's going to be interesting. Stay tuned.
So it will be interesting. And I hope to see what Democrats have to say about who knew what when it came to our brain-dead, non-functional president. Just an amazing thing that is a real thing that happened in American life, and we're not even paying attention to it anymore. Like, this is how fast the news moves now. We had a president who was legitimately non-functional for 2 full years. We have no idea who the actual president of the United States was, and it may have been his formerly coke-addled son and his wife. I have descriptors for her, but I'll leave them out. And somehow that is not, like, we moved beyond it. Goodness gracious. The timeline is too fast at this point. Well, that's all for now, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. Be sure to check out all of the other great content on my channel. I'll see you here next time.